Hello everyone, this is H to the Husky here with another Tasteless versus Day9 show match. It is going to be on the map Metalopolis. Definitely go check out our sponsor iRip. It is 4 letters, the letter I, and then the word RIP. Go to Google, check them out. It's because it has been so popular, our HDH, that our sponsor has wanted to do a couple of show matches, and it's because, of you guys watching it, so definitely go check it out. It directly helps us. With that out of the way, I just have to say, go check out thehandsome.nerd.com as well as day9tv.bliptv. Oh wait, day9tv.blip.tv. There we go. I'm telling you, man, that's so hard to say. As that is where you can actually watch the Day9. Are we lagging here? What's going on? I think it just.
I do think we're having some serious lag here. Woo! What is going on? Is Tasteless lifting off his command center? Are we just lagging right now, or is he doing this for reals?
Oh no, he's going straight to the high yield. Very common to do on this map. Now, what would be funny is if both players actually tried to lift off, because they would have flown to the same high yield. That would have been a riot. They aren't going to do this, though, so let's see. That is Tasteless lifting off. Okay, so, sorry, we got thrown for a loop here because we were lagging and then they're lifting off. So Tasteless spawning as the green Terran on the left side, and his brother Day9 is the yellow Terran on the top center.
Yeah, I've actually seen this used a lot in games on Metalopolis at the Copper Silver League or 2v2s. I've never seen this in a 1v1 before, so I have no idea if this is actually going to work. Now, when I do this as a Terran player, I know the first thing I get is a Planetary Fortress, and that's because you're so vulnerable to that early rush. You should probably get a Fortress, but I'm thinking in Tasteless' head right now, maybe he's going to use that extra mineral per minute to get out more Marines or maybe some more Hellions. He is going to start getting that advantage right now. Let's look at the income tab. Day9 has 11 harvesters, Tasteless has 7, but the minerals per minute is starting to even out because Tasteless has the gold.
I do like how Tasteless is sending out this SCV to harass. He's trying to delay that bunker, but at the same time, since he sent that scout out so early, it's really a bigger blow than just doing it normally because he's on the high yield. What's that?
You said bunker barracks, you mean?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so yeah, he does have the high yield up here. He's just now getting his own barracks, and I mean, the income, I'm going to keep an eye on this income tab because we'll see it where it slowly starts to inch ahead simply because he does have the high yield. And like you were saying, HD, he's only got 10 harvesters, but still he's getting closer and closer to passing in that income.
Yeah, 15 to 11 harvesters right now. I'm pretty sure that in the next couple of, maybe in the next minute, his income's going to even out. Look at that, 500. He is over now. He is over Day9's income per minute, and Day9 is getting an orbital command. Let's see what Tasteless is getting. He doesn't have the racks up quite yet, but look at that. Because of those extra minerals, he is throwing up 2 racks like a baller, and wow, Day9 still hasn't scouted out. Now he's finally scouting it. He sees there's a 3rd racks going up, by the way, guys. He's finally scouted this, and he is supposed to be like, what is going on?
I love how the SCV walks through there and just goes on to the right side.
He did a double take.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, wait a minute, what is going on here? And now this is too bad for Tasteless because if he could have kept this unscouted, this was actually good game sense by Day9. I don't think he meant to scout up here, but either way, he scouted up there before scouting the other 2 bases on the map. So he's throwing down his factory right now, and he's going to wall off here with a bunker. So now I can say bunker and putting it at the top of the ramp. So I don't know if an all-in marine attack is going to work here. And of course, he basically has a base now that's kind of just sitting out in the middle of the map.
Now, one thing I got to say, about this strategy is that in the beginning, it kind of relies on your opponent not scouting you, because if he does, he's just going to rush you and kill you. But if he does scout you later on, well, then you're going to be ahead of the Terran player, the other Terran. If you're the one in the center, you're going to be ahead of Day9 for the rest of the game, because you're going to get these extra minerals per minute. Although you have 2 less mineral stacks, so I guess you're going to be ahead for a while, but eventually you might fall behind. It's kind of tough to call, but from here on out, it's Tasteless' game. Tasteless is going to have the advantage. He's going to have 4 racks going up right here. 4 racks, that's right. Read it and weep, guys. He's going to have tons of units coming out, and Day9 forced to play defensive, getting a siege tank.
I just don't know if Tasteless can actually bust up the ramp, because with that bunker on there, Marine's not very good against bunkers. I think Tasteless may just try and set up a contain and expand himself. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do here. Is he going to try and end it, which would be, I think, a huge blunder and not quite work. Although that SCV going to scoot on out of there, no problem. But he may try. No, he's going to run that SCV up there, so no contain with a bunker. But he is getting a bunch of Marines. I'm curious to see, though, if he can actually break up there. But look at this, 3 tech labs now on the way.
3 tech labs means some yummy, yummy Marauders coming out. Those can actually bust down the racks, the bunker and the siege tank fairly quickly. But you're right, Husky. I think it would be in his best interest right now to probably just expand. But look at this. He's got 4 SCVs with his Marines. So I guess he might be thinking about making a push here. I don't think he needs to. He has the advantage right now because he got this expansion up and running. Why not grab another Expo at your original base and just play standard from there on out? You're going to have one base up over the other Terran.
Now, the problem is going to be actually containing a Terran that has 2 siege tanks, as the siege tanks are just going to own those Marines, especially splash damage. Looks like Tasteless may try and make a move here, but oh, this is not going to work, Tasteless. Don't you dare do it. He tried to bust up there, and there are charred remains, so this is not looking good for Tasteless. It's so difficult to deal with siege tanks when you just have Marines and like 1 Marauder.
Wow, Tasteless really focused on that infantry. I didn't quite notice it, but if you look at the harvester count, Day9 is almost double. He has double, 30 harvesters over 14. So now Day9's going to have the money to start throwing down his own Raxes, and I think he made a great decision going for these siege tanks. It's great defense, going to hold off his front door, and now he can start building up forces of his own. He's got a command center, going to lift off and grab an expansion as well, and Tasteless has really committed to trying to make something happen when I think he could have easily grabbed another Expo of his own.
I agree with you completely. Now that there's 4 siege tanks out, oh man, I don't see what anyone could do. I mean, there's more siege tanks than there are Marauders right now, so anytime that Day9 wants to move out, he should be okay. I don't know if Tasteless is going to have anything to deal with it. He can't even afford to be producing out of these barracks right now, simply because he did throw down the expansion on the left side there, and so it is on the way, but he needs those Marauders to even have a chance against these tanks. But I think Day9 realizes that, gonna be moving out soon, or I guess just securing his own expansion and kind of driving his advantage that he has right now.
Yeah, I like how Day9's pushing out with the siege tanks, leaving 1 on the ridge, going to throw down a bunker as well so his Marines can hop inside. This is very standard, very nice play by Day9. Going to give him that advantage when it comes to securing the expansion, and there's really nothing this infantry can do. Look, they're going to walk in, they might kill an SCV here or there, but there's nothing they can do against that siege tank line. Absolutely nothing. So Tasteless, his contain is pretty much, at this point, broken. It's done. There's nothing that Tasteless can do. He needs to expand, and he needs to pick up his economy if he wants to have a shot at winning this game. His harvester count's still drastically low at 19.
I don't know how Tasteless can get back into this, to be completely honest. I mean, just looking at the army size here for Day9, he is sitting so comfortably, and I like that he's playing defensively, just because he's going to drive this advantage he has, I would think, to a victory. I can't see what Tasteless can do. Day9 is also going to scout this expansion, but the problem is that there's not even any SCVs at that expansion, and so Tasteless just now getting his first tank. And this is so late in the game to be getting his first tank in a Terran versus Terran matchup. And he, like we've been saying, he can't march in there. He can't do anything. The tanks are perfectly placed. So Tasteless has got to come up with something and come up with it fast.
Well, what he needs to do, Husky, is get this expansion over here at the 8 o'clock. Well, I guess you can't call it an expansion, his main. Get that thing saturated and start getting some income there. He has no income being saturated there. He calls GG, so a little bit of a comedy game there as... of course he's gonna spot it eventually, man. GG.
Well, the thing is that if he would have not have scouted it until he scouted those other 2 bases, there would have been enough Marines to do a timing attack. Yeah. And it did get scouted though, and then he ran up that ramp. Not only lost his Marines then, but then when he tried to attack that expansion, they all got blasted to pieces by those siege tanks. So it's a good strategy. It is a valid strategy. You can use it, but it didn't quite end up working out. I'm gonna record it now. All right, guys. So we just finished that fairly short game on Metalopolis. Definitely a strategy we don't see as much lifting that off right away. So, anyways, we're here with Sean and Nick. You know, Tasteless and Day9. So I'm just gonna hand it straight to Tasteless and tell us what you were thinking. Have you used that strategy before, and how effective is it if it doesn't get scouted?
I use that strategy from time to time. I've actually beaten a lot of good people with it. But it's best, obviously, if they don't see it right away and they assume that you're in the last possible scouting spot. But yeah, I mean, when he spotted, I was like, oh crap, he's gonna be able to make a bunker. Basically, the idea is that you take the gold spot, since the command centers fly fast in this game. You take that and then you make a bunch of barracks, and then you just have enough Marines to get them while they're in the middle of their tech transition.
Yeah. I wonder, though, Tasteless, well, let's hear what Sean has to say about that.
So I've actually lost to this before. It's actually so good that you can do it as like a standard, just like, you know, every game on Metalopolis I'm going to take the gold. But I think the big blunder was when you scouted me, like really early on, because the timing was exactly like you were at the left position. So when I moved there, I was like, oh, he's not here, and it just felt real suspicious.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, like,
I shouldn't have scouted you so quickly. I was kind of... The only thing I was worried about at the start of the game was that you might be like a Zerg at the top, and you just float over.
Oh yeah, we're playing random versus random.
Yeah, so that was my initial concern. But then when I got to the gold base, I thought, okay, well then I'm going to win now, because my bet is that you had not seen that strategy before, because I had never used that against you. So I thought maybe I should just go check where he is. Okay, that explains it then. But yeah,
but the fact that it was random versus random, you have to scout early because it's RVR, and then it kind of gives it away because you scouted so early.
But I mean, it is true. Like the timing for my SCV getting there would have to mean I'm at the bottom left.
I wonder, Tasteless, would you have been able to transition out of getting that gold by possibly getting another expansion up sooner rather than committing to an all-in attack? Because I think at a certain point in the game, you were actually ahead of Sean when you had the gold fully saturated in mining. Maybe instead of trying to go for pressure and ending the game there, you could have just went for another expansion, since he did have a bunker and several tanks.
Well, I was planning on doing that. I was going to retake my main, actually. But I don't know. I mean, the whole situation, when I realized you spotted me, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should just go for one all-in attack. And then I was pretty doubtful once I saw the tanks. Once I saw about 3 tanks there, I was like, well, I don't know if there's anything I can do. Because I initially made so many barracks. I mean, you make 4 barracks when you do that.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, well, now I have all these useless buildings. So, yeah, I mean, I was pretty much dead from the start when you spotted it.
Okay, and one thing that Sean was saying was that he likes to scout out the minerals, or at least maybe I kind of got into the end of the conversation, but scouting on that map, I have seen Terrans use the floating their command center there quite a bit. So is it good if you scout one location on your way through the middle, just kind of hop by that Xel'Naga watchtower? Is that something you normally do, Sean?
Yeah, you should do it.
Yeah, every game, just pop by the Xel'Naga watchtower. The first player I saw do that, like, every single game was actually Artosis. And I mean, he's just very disciplined about it. And I mean, I've even seen replays of him where he's like, all right, and then I hit the Xel'Naga watchtower, and oh look, there's like two gateways here. Oh great, you know, because I mean, especially in that matchup, another thing I've lost to on that map several times is a 7 racks Reaper rush in Terran vs Terran.
Yeah.
So I like to pop by that, but then when I saw it's just the scout timing on that SCV right at the start, I was like, oh, he's at the left position. You weren't there, and I was like, oh, I guess he's at the right position and scouts vertically instead of horizontally. So that's what ended up walking me through the main. Then I was like, oh, there's a base here.
Yeah, your SCV kind of did a double take. It like made it all the way through, and then you're like, wait a second.
And you're like, well, you typed something out. It was pretty hilarious. I don't recall exactly.
Wait a minute.
That's it. Oh man, that was some good play. Great scouting by you, Day9, and great just read of the game, knowing that, hey, that's a super early scout. That's got to be either at the 3 or the 9. Can't possibly be at the 6. So,
well, thank you.
Good call. Yeah, good call, good call.
And one thing, if you ever find yourself in that situation, basically what Day9 did exactly what you should is just get that bunker immediately, and then those Marines are going to have virtually no chance of ever getting up that ramp. So I knew as soon as that bunker went down that Tasteless was going to have to do something different.
Yeah, I mean, the game was basically over when the bunker went down. I mean, the rest of it was me kind of trying to think on my feet, and I thought, well, you know, I'm pretty not comfortable with this position to begin with.
Yeah, there's like a lot. There's another thing that you spawned at the left instead of the bottom or the right, because if a Terran player does the fast gold float trick, or should I say opener? It's not really a trick. You can like play it normally, but if you open that way and you see a Terran player making a bunker, he's basically saying, I'm going to be passive for a little while. So then you can easily get huge map control because you have just this enormous barracks count. Because even if you make something like 6 Marauders and then cut all production completely and just tech or expand, you just have so much time because, I mean, what am I going to do? I have to get like 5 or tanks or so. Because if I try to push out with 1 or 2, then his Marauders sprint up, kill it, and I immediately lose. But it was a little unfortunate that because he was at left, that gold expo was so close to my main that I just could like walk tanks there pretty slowly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, yes.
so, yep. That was an awesome game. I was a little lag spike in the beginning, and the next thing you know, Tasteless is floating off into the horizon. So,
yeah, I just want to say
I was really taken back.
I'm kind of disappointed that you both didn't lift off, because you would have both gone to the same one, and that would have been pretty interesting.
That would have been hilarious.
Like, what do you do?
Oh man. Well, I mean, at the very least, it would be a good example of which main's closer to the gold.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right.